Are we ready to go? Okay. So tonight we will be doing the ceremonial oath of office, and we'll do that before we actually call the meeting to order. So I will ask Chrissy and Lauren and Molly to come on up, and we'll do the ceremonial oath of office. Yay.
Where do you want us to stand?
How about right here? And then we'll get a picture after. I believe Elise is doing pictures of the whole board tonight, too. We have everybody here, so.
I was not ready. No! Today. Not today.
It was in there.
It's fine. Fine.
Okay. So I'll read I'll read this, and then there's part of it where you'll repeat after me. So, it is an honor that you were elected to guide the education of our community children. As you recite the oath of office, you assume a tremendous responsibility as a director of our school district, with the duties empowered by the Minnesota legislature. This power puts you and other members of our school board in the position of being both morally and legally responsible for equitable quality education of every student in our district. In carrying out this responsibility, you will be asked to fulfill the roles of vision, structure, and accountability and advocacy. In providing vision, the board, with extensive participation of the community, envisions the community's educational future and then formulates the goals, defines the outcomes, and sets the course for our public schools. To achieve the vision, the board establishes a structure and creates an environment designed to ensure all students the opportunity to attain their maximum potential through a sound organizational framework. Because as a board, we must be accountable to the community, we must ensure a continuous assessment of student achievement and all conditions affecting the education of our children. As board members, we serve as educators, key advocate on behalf of students and our community schools to advance the vision of our schools. Furthermore, we must strive to work together with the superintendent and staff to lead the district toward fulfilling the vision that we have created, fostering excellence for every student in the areas of academic skills and knowledge, citizenship, and personal development. So having signed the acceptance of the oath of office back shortly after the election, each of you signed that, you therefore publicly affirm my commitment to the oath of office. So I'll ask you to put up your hands and repeat after me together. I swear that I will support
I swear that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
and that I will discharge faithfully
and that I will discharge faithfully
the duties of the office of the school board members
the duties of the office of the school board members
of Independence School District number 717
of Independent School District 717
to the best of my judgment and ability.
to the best of my judgment and ability.
You are official. So each of you can sign. Chrissy, don't go away. Each of you can sign this. And then I believe, do we have to keep those on file, or do they keep those? These are the ceremonial ones. How about if we make a copy and give them a copy at the next meeting? Congratulations, all of you. Thank you. Okay. Congratulations, and officially welcome back to the board, Lauren and Molly, and welcome to the board, Chrissy, on behalf of the whole board. So happy to have you guys here. The next item we have is to call the meeting to order. So I will call the organizational meeting and the regular meeting of District 717 to order. It is 6:35. We will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Deb Polly,
Here.
Lauren Pedersen,
Here.
Molly Maniak,
Here.
Rob Langheim,
Here.
Corinne Hennon, Jenny Kuski,
Here.
Christina Olson.
Thank you. Okay, consideration of the agenda. We are going to pull item 7.5, the matters of employment, out of the consent agenda, and that we will make that items 8.5. And with that, there's no other adjustments to the agenda, correct, Superintendent? Okay.
Motion to approve the agenda with the adjusting of the, whatever that was. we said. Matters of employment. 7.5 will become 8.5.
Correct. Thank you. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Molly. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Nobody indicated that they're here for public comments. The next item we have is the organizational meeting. And at this meeting, at this part of the meeting, we read the responsibilities and ethics expected of the board, and they will be up here on the screen, and we will go around robin to do that. And we will include you in reading with that, and me also, as our student rep. Yes, up here.
Oh, perfect.
Yes, okay. So, general statement of policy, each school board member shall follow the code of ethics stated in our policy number 209. So as a member of the school board, I will attend school board meetings.
Come to the meetings prepared for discussion of the agenda items.
Listen to the opinions and views of others, including but not limited to other school board members, administration, staff, students, and community members.
Vote my conscience after informed discussion unless I abstain because of conflict of interest exists.
Support the decision of the school board even if my position concerning the issue was different.
Recognize the integrity of my predecessors and associates and appreciate their work.
Be primarily motivated by a desire to provide the best possible education for the students of my school district.
Inform myself about the proper duties and functions of a school board member.
Performing the proper functions of a school board member, I will focus on education policy as much as possible.
Remember, my responsibility is to set policy, not to implement policy.
Consider myself a trustee of public education and do my best to protect, conserve, and advance its progress.
Recognize that my responsibility exercised through the actions of the school board as a whole is to see that the schools are properly run, not to run them myself.
Work through the superintendent, not over or around the superintendent.
Delegate the implementation of school board decisions to the superintendent.
To maintain relations with other members of the school board, I will
Respect the rights of others to have and express opinions.
Recognize that authority rests with the school board in legal session and not with the individual members of the school board except as authorized by law.
Make no disparaging remarks in or out of school board meetings about other members of the school board or their opinions.
Keep an open mind about how I will vote on any proposition until the board has met and fully discussed the issue.
Make decisions by voting in school board meetings after all sides of debatable questions have been presented.
Insist that committees be appointed to serve only in an advisory capacity to the school board.
In meeting my responsibilities to my community, I will
attempt to appraise and plan for both the present and future educational needs of the school district and community.
Attempt to obtain adequate financial support for the school district's programs.
Insist that business transactions of the school school district be ethical and open?
Strive to uphold my responsibilities and accountability to the taxpayers in my school district.
In working with the superintendent of schools and staff, I will.
Hold the superintendent, Renee, responsible for the administration of the school district.
Give the superintendent authority commensurate with his or her responsibilities.
Assure that the school district will be administered by the best professional personnel available.
Consider the recommendation of the superintendent in hiring all employees.
Participate in school board action after considering the recommendation of the superintendent and only after the superintendent has furnished adequate information supporting the recommendation.
Assist the superintendent, keep the school board adequately informed at all times.
Offer the superintendent counsel and advice.
Recognize the status of the superintendent as a chief executive officer and non-voting ex officio member of the school board.
Refer all complaints to the proper administrative officer or insist that they be presented in writing to the whole school board for proper referral according to the chain of command.
Present any personal criticisms of employees to the superintendent.
Provide support for the superintendent and employees of the school district so that they may perform their proper function on a professional level.
In fulfilling my legal obligations as a school board member, I will
Comply with all federal, state, and local laws relating to my work as a school board member.
Comply with all school district policies as adopted by the school board.
Abide by all rules and regulations as promulgated by the Minnesota Department of Education and other states and federal agencies with jurisdictions over school districts.
Recognize that school district business may be legally transacted only in an open meeting of the school board.
Avoid conflict of interest and refrain from using my school board position for personal gain.
Take no private action that will compromise the school board or administration.
Guard the confidentiality of information that is protected under applicable law.
Thank you. Okay, the next item that we have is the election of officers. Before we do that, though, I just want to go through, I don't know how many of you attended or watched the webinar on elections, the organizational meeting one that MSBA had. So just a couple reminders, or for you, Chrissy, people can make a motion. If they want to run for an office, they can nominate themselves. There's no second needed for nominations. You can self-nominate. You can decline a nomination if you so choose. And then the question that I have is, if there's more than one person running for an office, what are the wishes of the board? Do you want to do just a hand raise vote, or do you want to do a vote? Okay, a vote where you vote, write it down on paper. You have to sign it because every vote has to be registered to a board member. Hand vote is.
I'm fine with that.
Hand vote, everybody.
My feelings won't be hurt.
Okay, no post-it notes, okay. Okay, any questions about that or anything so far? Okay, and with that, the next item that we have is the elections. And the first election we have is for, accept nominations for the position of chairperson of the board.
I nominate Deb Pauley.
Are there any other nominations? Come on, somebody.
You don't want to do it?
Deb, you got it down.
Nancy, you do it
All
so well.
hands.
Wait a minute, I have to
Approved.
say this 3 times to make it legal. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing no other nominations, I declare myself chair by acclamation. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for your support and everything. I appreciate it a lot. great board, and we're very fortunate to work together as well as we do. I appreciate that. Next, we have the position of vice chair.
I nominate Molly Maniak for vice chair.
Okay, we have Molly for vice chair. Is there a second? Not a second. I'm sorry, we don't need seconds. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I declare Molly Moyniak as the vice chair by acclamation. Congratulations. Okay, next we have nominations for clerk. I will entertain nominations for the position of clerk.
I nominate Lauren.
Okay, we have a nomination for Lauren. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Okay, I declare nominations closed. Since it's just Lauren, I declare Lauren the clerk by acclamation. Okay. I will now take nominations for the position of treasurer.
Rob, do you still want to do it?
I was actually,
I've got a May issue, so I'm gonna decline.
I was gonna nominate
nominate
Corinne.
You guys are funny. My thing's not working.
That's why I gave you my mic.
Yeah, just put it in the middle.
Are there any other nominations for treasurer? Are there any other nominations for treasurer? Are there any other nominations for treasurer? Hearing none, I declare nominations closed, and I declare Corinne treasurer by acclamation. So thank you, and thank you to the past officers for their service the last year. Okay, the next item we will do all in one fell sweep motion. That includes the treasurer's bond of $100,000 to bond Corinne. Depositories are Franson Bank, Riverland Bank, Midslaff, Hometown Bank, and Minnesota Trust. So the Midslaff is the Minnesota School Boards Association Liquid Asset Fund, where we have money invested. We have our newspaper as the Henderson Independent. Investment authority lies with our superintendent and the finance director. The meeting time as set as the second Monday at 6:30, and the fourth Monday is a workshop at 5:30. Sometimes it's a special meeting, depending, and it's also noted in the calendar that we'll be approving later. Or that's part of this calendar. Also, we have legal counsel of Ratswig, Rozak, and Maloney, and sometimes there's other firms that our superintendent and district office needs to work with. We also have the legal counsel authority contacts as the board chair and the superintendent. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the establishments.
Motion to approve the establishments.
Lauren, is there a second?
Johnny, I'll second.
Jenny?
Hmm?
Thank you. Any discussion or questions?
Remind me again how a newspaper's defined.
What do you mean? Like if it's
So-
online or?
Does it have
Does it have to be a
print?
physical paper?
Does it have
It does have to be a
physically print?
physical paper,
Okay,
and,
that's all I needed.
okay.
Thank you.
yeah,
Unless we can get that law changed.
yeah. I will
Or keep
say
working-
that
keep
we do
working on
work
it.
I know
with
that,
others.
I know that
though.
that comes
Yeah.
from the state. I just wasn't clear what the definition was.
I have one other question.
I was trying
The,
to give you a plug, Ryan.
oh yeah. The investment part, or you said that we have money investment, is that like considered in our reserve or like budget?
So we have different reasons for investment. For example, with the bond referendum, the money that comes in, we invest that and it grows throughout so that, we have sometimes more money to use throughout the project. So those are some of the reasons that we might invest.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not like extra money from, I don't
No.
know. Okay, I was
Yep,
just
no.
wondering if that's like part of our
Yeah.
12% that
Yeah, we're not, so like Fund One isn't sitting on a bunch of investments. that
Yeah,
we-
okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. That's what I was
Yeah,
wondering.
yeah. It's a good question.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
I just wanted to ask the question, just because it's the beginning of the year, does Monday at 6:30 for the first meeting, is that good for everybody still?
Did we talk about this last year? And talk
Probably.
about changing it, or did we change the workshop meeting?
We definitely changed the workshop meeting last year to 5:30.
Okay.
But I just didn't know if we wanted to open the discussion around the first meeting at 6:30. Is 6:30 good for everybody? I mean, it is after.
I think the conflict happens when we have concerts, right? And
Uh-huh.
like, I mean, that's a big one, and
But there's always conflict.
yeah, I mean, there is. I think your thought, Lauren, though, just is that if we were earlier,
Maybe
it
we
would be
could make
easier
Six
to.
o'clock might be,
Six.
easier to make concerts, but you're gonna find a conflict, I think, on almost every day of the week because of other activities, but you're right, if there is a concert conflict, sometimes 2, 3 times a year, yeah, 6:30 is a tougher start time.
I'm not saying we have to. I'm
No, I
just
know.
opening up
I think that's
the
what you-
question. Yeah.
That's where I'm thinking your head was going, just
Mhm.
if we started at 6, you know, you wouldn't miss the whole thing, whatever the
Or you'd be able to
conflict is.
attend the second one,
Mhm.
or.
But also for people coming from work and driving from work, trying to
Mhm.
get, so there's that too. I work from home, so it's not an issue for me either way.
It's, again, I work from home. It's not an issue for me either way
Yeah.
either.
I don't work from home, but it doesn't bother me whatever time we go.
It's fine.
Okay.
Anyone else? Keep it?
Yeah.
All right.
Want to keep it? Yeah, I mean, we'd have to redo the board calendar that we just approved.
I mean,
We'd
it's
have
no,
to-
yeah, you'd have to just make the motion with updating the calendar, which is no
Right.
problem.
Yeah,
I just brought it up because this is the time where we would have that discussion, and we would change it if we wanted to, but 6:30 is fine with me, so.
It stays
Okay.
yeah. Okay,
6:30.
Okay.
okay. Good. Any other
Good talk.
comments or questions? Okay, we have a motion by Lauren and a second by Jenny. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, the next item is board member compensation. I hope you all got the email that I sent twice. Superintendent Evenson and I think Krista Halverson and myself did some surveying of other districts' compensation. To my knowledge, let's see, I've been on the board since '06. I think probably in about '09, we structured it. It used to be that you got paid per meeting you went to, and it was a bookkeeping nightmare. It was, yeah, so that's when we went to the flat compensation. It has not been changed since then. So we just thought we would open it up to discussion, how everybody feels about the rate of compensation, not that we're in it for the money. And to be honest with you, most of us give it back, like either to the boosters or the foundation or Wolf Ridge or whatever, so, I'll just open it up for discussion.
I had a question and it left my head. I can't remember what it was. Oh, are we like still operating in a deficit this year, or are we like okay?
It's too early to say. We will know more near the tail end of the month.
Okay.
I mean, I'll say after being on the board for 2 years, it is a lot of work and it's a lot of time. If it's been 15 years since there's been an adjustment, I mean, I would see a need for an increase for a few reasons. I mean, the time, it's a big time commitment, it's a lot of reading. I don't think people realize how much work goes into it, and it really is a lot. As you mentioned, Deb, I mean, when I first got elected, I didn't even know we got paid, so it was like, oh, that's kind of nice, you know, a nice little bonus. But, yeah, I mean, I think we want to have people that potentially, if they are looking at that and coming into office and, you know, as trying to get people to come on the board, you know, it might be an incentive too for some people, even though it is small. So, I mean, I can look at it a couple different ways. Looking at other districts, we're on the low end. There was a couple districts on that sheet that you sent out that we're surprisingly lower, but pretty comparable to where we're at. But neighboring districts are mostly quite a bit more. So,
Almost double, not quite, but
yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't, think we need to do that big of a leap, but I think it's something worth entertaining at this point.
And I think too that a lot of people don't realize that we as a board, contribute to different, things we're asked to contribute to the, flower fund and stuff like that. And actually later on tonight, I'm gonna be talking about the board, hopefully being willing to go together to do something for the gala. So there are, financial expectations of board members. And I would not want to discourage somebody out there that might not be in a financial situation that it might deter them from wanting to run for the board if finances, are an issue. And there is a lot of time and a lot of commitment involved, and so.
when I was at the conference last year, I was like a topic that got brought up. But we were asking like some of the people that I was sitting next to, like, oh, well, like, what is your school board paid? Some do like by meeting, but that's, like you said, a logistical nightmare. But one that I thought was kind of interesting is they said that they take, it was like 10% of their lowest paid, like on their teacher salary. And I thought that was interesting that they did it that way. Not that we have to do that, but I just thought that was like a unique, like, that's how they figured out their compensation. Like, as another alternative other than the ones that you had posted in the spreadsheet.
I do think some of those ones on the spreadsheet, though, those are a lot larger of districts, those ones that are higher paid. So I feel like maybe that's a little bit more work when you're operating, or not operating, but kind of overseeing more schools, larger population, larger district size. I thought we were in line with districts that were of the same size as we are. If not a little bit more, like Belle Plaine, we were more than Watertown or
Plain is
Waterville.
an outlier,
Yeah, I thought theirs was very low actually for.
Belle Plaine was low, lower than us.
But like Watertown, we were the same as them. I think New Prague was another one on there that we were close to.
Watertown, but they get $250 for committee meetings. We don't do
Oh,
that.
okay.
Our committees, we don't get extra compensation for that.
Okay.
And Watertown, Watertown Mayor, are they about our size or a
They're
little
one
bit?
of our comparables.
Yeah.
They're smaller though, I think, aren't they? A little bit.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
use them as a comparable though, for other demographics.
This is an
So
uncomfortable.
here's my opinion. And it's completely philosophical, and I totally get that and I respect that. Being a board member, you're giving back to the community. You're serving the district. I don't think any of us are doing this for the money. If we're doing it for the money, then I guess I would have concerns about some of the decision-making that people are making. If you look at the minimum wage for the state of Minnesota, it's $11 an hour. It basically equates to 4 hours a week of time that's spent doing this. My guess is you could probably find a better job, a more consistent job that makes more money, if you're strictly in it for the money. We have a fixed budget as a school district. If we have those dollars get allocated to board members, that means that they're not going to something else that's a district priority. I know that, kind of in the grand scheme of things, that the total dollar amount that we're talking about for board members is a little bit of a rounding error, but I think it's symbolic. The question of should we get paid something versus nothing, we kind of, I think, as a district have made that decision. But in terms of doing something that's wildly different than what we already have in place, I think it's just, kind of being cognizant that it's not going to come from an unlimited funding pool. It basically means that we're going to have to decide to not do something else that we would have otherwise. And so, to some degree, we just kind of have to make that decision, or at least recognize that that's a little bit of the consequence of the decision of making any adjustments to the compensation.
They were good 2 cents. I do agree that we don't do this for the money, and we do it to give back to the community.
Other thoughts? Consensus of any kind? Yay or nay?
I mean, I think it'd be good to increase, but I also don't want to do it unless I know that the budget's like, I don't want to cut something later in down the road because we increased this and now I have to cut. Like, I don't want to do that. I'd rather just leave it where it's at. That's why I asked about the budget, like what Rob said.
I don't know that we're gonna know that.
Right.
Not now, no.
Can we revisit it after we get like an update? Or do you wanna
technically,
make
I would say no, probably a third meeting next year is the next time that we would revisit it. I would
Yeah.
think that would be,
That's typical practice.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion of any kind.
Motion to approve the existing board member compensation.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Rob? Okay, Lauren and Rob? Okay, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for that discussion. Okay, committee assignments, we all serve on budget and finance. Calendar, Jenny, you will stay on that. City school, Lauren and I will serve on that. Community ed and rec, Corinne, you'll stay on that, and Lauren will be the alternate. District advisory will be Jenny and myself and Henry. Facilities will be myself and Molly. Meet and confer, myself and Molly. Negotiations, Lauren and myself. Policy, myself, Corinne, and Chrissy, you'll be on policy. And then the APAC committee, will be, the APAC committee, I'll serve on that, but they meet during the day at noon. Booster, Lauren and Chrissy. Ed Foundation would be Jenny and Molly. Legislative actually should be all of us, but I'll serve as the contact person, and the same with MSHSL. Lauren, you'll serve on scale. And SEAC Molly, and then I'll serve as the Southwest Metro Intermediate District with Corinne as the alternate. Okay?
Will these be sent to us written down?
They were in your packet.
What the names?
Yep.
Oh, I did not see that. Did I not
they
look
were
in the
in
right
the
spot?
Did these pretty much stay the same?
Oh.
Pretty much, we made some adjustments because I had talked at length with Rob, because knowing Rob's situation, we made a couple adjustments.
Okay.
Otherwise, everybody, and then with Sarah going off, we did very little juggling, but we pretty much kept everybody where they were. And then just, typically Chrissy, we start a new board member with minimal commitments, just until you get your feet wet and stuff.
I found it,
Policy's a
by the
good
way.
one to start on. I did too. But it's a lot of reading, like a lot of reading. I started on policy when I started, so I think it's a great starting point.
I found it. I didn't realize there was 2 links there.
Okay, great. Okay, so we need a motion to approve the committee assignments.
Motion to approve committee assignments?
Lauren, is there a second?
Second.
Molly, discussion?
Would we juggle these at all during the year or not? Or would they just stay the same kind of situation? It's just once a year you look at it?
Well,
Typically.
yeah, typically they stay pretty standard, but I think if there would be a situation, like if somebody goes off the board or there's an opening somewhere for whatever reason that somebody may wanna,
Or if there's a conflict, like if scale meets on once a month on
And- yes,
Fridays, and if all of a sudden I have a meeting that starts with my work at that time and I
Right.
can't make it, I'd have to,
then we would reappoint somebody.
And does it have to go through a process or do we just, are we able to switch?
Probably, that's a good question.
Wouldn't you just make it like a board item?
I think we would just make it an adjustment at a
I
board
think we
meeting.
just adjust it, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve, the committees and the points of contacts. Further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item 6, the district delegates authority to make electronic fund transfers to the district's finance director. Need a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Molly. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item 7, Pellsby requirement. They are required to have a community member serve, and Diane has served this past year, and she has agreed to serve again as the representative. So I will entertain a motion to approve the appointment of Diane Hess to that position.
Motion to approve.
Lauren, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Corinne.
Yep.
Any discussion?
Diane Hess is awesome.
Yes, she is.
So she's like perfect for this, so.
What is happening?
Why, what's wrong?
Just like dreamed in and.
Oh.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let's see, next is the approval of the board 2025 calendar that you have in front of you.
It's not in front of us then.
We don't have a calendar. We
It
have
was in
the.
your packets.
Well,
You said in front of us.
Well, if you've got your computers on, it is. There it is, it's in front of you. And it lists, summer seminar, the MSBA leadership conference, regular meetings, or workshop meetings, day at the Capitol, which hopefully you'll all get on your calendar, March 10th. It's going to be a wild one this year. Okay. So I will entertain a motion to approve the calendar. Did they add the language on there that in case of inclement weather?
Yes, it should be on the bottom.
Okay. In case, I can't read that.
In
In
case
the
of
event.
inclement weather, the meeting will be moved to the next day, same time, same
Okay.
place. As recommended by MSBA.
Okay.
I'll motion to approve that.
Jenny, is there a second?
I'll second.
Corinne? All those in favor, or is there any discussion?
A day at the Capitol,
is-
I'm kind of happy that it is where it is because it doesn't fall within the spring break this year, which is good because the day at the Capitol is something really everybody should go to. I didn't take advantage of going to that at the beginning of my terms, and I eventually did, and it is really great. A really good event.
And are we just putting that asterisk on the bottom? That's just so the public knows?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, any further questions? If not, all those in favor of approving the calendar for the year signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Confidentiality, in front of you, you all have the confidentiality and conflict of interest policy and disclosure forms. Please read that over, sign it, and then give it to Elise before you leave today. And with that, I believe we are on to the consent agenda items. We have the minutes from the December meeting, the seniority list, the monthly finances, and you want to pop the donations up there? I didn't print those. Okay, we have Community Ed and Rec Wheels Up Wednesday donation from Sarah Fritzky, $200. JES Backpack Program, Mighty Cause, $45. Jordan High School Band, Harold and Nita Schobert, $3,000. Jordan High School Band, Sarah and Mike Olson, $80. Jordan High School Band, Stephen and Renee McClellan, $30. Jordan High School Band, Terry and Pauline Wormskirchen, $150. Hillary and Michael Salzweddle, thank you, for the Jordan High School Band, $75. I'm in an odd angle here. Steve and Bonnie Barn, Jordan High School Band, $100. Thank you for those generous donations. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Motion to approve.
Molly, is there a second?
I'll second.
Jenny?
Sure.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Okay, review and act on the Iowa Identified Official with Authority, MDE, Superintendent Stevenson.
Chair Polly, members of the board, every year about this time, we are required to have the school board designate the superintendent as the individual with authority. What that allows me to do is go into MEGS, which is one of the many, many MDE systems that I have to go into and accept or approve different reports that are required from finance and various programs within our organization. This is a requirement for the district.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve Superintendent Stevenson as our Iowa representative.
A motion to approve.
Who is that?
Corinne.
Fran?
I'll second though.
In a second?
Jenny.
Jenny? Okay, discussion, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Review and act on the substitute principal agreement.
Chair Polly, members of the board, tonight I am pleased to make a recommendation to approve the MOU to have Rose Gold Branson again serve as our substitute principal for the middle school while Principal Bakeberg serves in the House of Representatives. I spent a significant amount of time with Rose over the last 2 years as she served in this capacity, and it has gone very well. From my perspective and from the perspective of faculty council who I met with to talk about next steps with this, and it was a unanimous, we would like to have the consistency of Rose in this role. So before you have the MOU. It's been approved by principals, it's been approved by our Jordan Education Association, and now I'm recommending the approval for Rose to serve as this substitute principal.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Lauren, is there a second?
Second.
Rob, discussion, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving Rose Branson as a substitute, middle school substitute principal, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Review and act on the admin assistant contract update.
So, Chair Polly, members of the board, actually for the next two, 8.3 and 8.4, those items you'll act upon separately, but they are related. As you're aware, I've been keeping you updated, gosh, I think since last summer on our pay equity process with the state of Minnesota. They review every 3 years, and this year we had to make some adjustments to some of our male-dominated and female-dominated pay scales to be within compliance. And so before you, I have a proposal for our admin assistants, and that would reduce the number of steps from 21 to 11. The steps that are reduced do not have anybody at those steps, so there's no cost at this point in time for the district. It does make it more desirable in terms of pay scales, having less steps to get to the top, so it is advantageous in the future for all parties involved. And the second one that is impacted is our local 284. That's a male-dominated class, and they were at 10 steps. We added a step to 11 to make those comparable, and it brought us within compliance. We were required to submit that report to the state and have that approved before January 1st. We did, in fact, move that forward to the state, and we were approved to be in compliance moving forward. So my recommendation is to approve both measures to ensure we remain in compliance. This was at minimal cost to the district, and I would just like to, thank our local 284. I would like to thank our admin assistants who I worked with over Christmas break. and talked to about that as we were finalizing things. The local 284 one will need to be approved pending ratification. And I have had confirmation that they will ratify that, but they have a process. It takes like 17 days.
Okay, so we'll take item 8.3 first, review and act on the admin assistant contract update. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
Corinne? Lauren?
You're taking my microphone.
Hers isn't working.
It doesn't work. Like it keeps going on and off and on and off. So
At the beginning, Stephen fixed them.
now it doesn't even go on.
There's a point.
Any questions or for Superintendent Evenson about the process or anything? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the admin assistant contract update signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now we will act on local 284 MOU, and this motion will be pending ratification of 284. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Molly, is there a second?
I'll second. Jenny.
Okay, any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Let's see, 8.5, yes. The matters of employment that were listed in the consent agenda, and I
It
will
was
entertain-
7.5.
It was 7.5,
Now
and
it's
we made it 8.5, yes. So those are listed, and that includes our coaches and a grade 1 teacher, and I can't read that, Jennifer.
Paraprofessional.
Okay, okay. So I will entertain a motion to approve those.
Motion to approve.
Molly, is there a second? Second. Lauren, okay. Discussion? I know that a couple people are going to abstain. Do you want to explain why you're going to abstain?
Sure. My husband's on the list for renew for coaching.
Same with my husband.
Okay, so we will have 2 abstentions because of conflict, because our husbands are coaches, so. Okay. Any questions?
Don't you need to, or is that just initial first hires? When everyone has to vote?
That's a whole different story.
That's a whole different thing. That's if you hire,
A board
if one
member.
of us would get hired by the district over the threshold amount, then the whole board has to be present and has to be roll call.
I thought in the training it said, right? I don't know. If
No.
you're hiring a spouse, like you still have to vote, you just don't vote on the contract. Right?
No, you're good.
All right.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the matters of employment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Wait, don't we have to abstain or no? Or is
Oh.
that just
Yep.
Yes. Abstentions? Sorry.
I don't know what you say to
Aye.
that. Abstain?
Yes. Thank you. Motion still carries. They're
You can
on.
tell we do this all the time.
Yes, thank you, Debbie, for catching that. Okay, Ms. Mahoney.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, we are adjourned. But I'm gonna ask the board to stick